Good afternoon, everyone. I've been on a healing path for so many years. Trying this, trying that, seeing healers, getting into energy work, getting into shamanism. I took a little bit of Reiki. I took a few other courses, went through the whole Western medicine system and counseling and therapy and all that sort of good stuff. And absolutely nothing nothing worked. Some of it seemed to be a band-aid, but there was never any true deep healing. And I was just so disheartened, because I could see a beautiful part of myself in amidst the darkness, and I could see the potential and the power and just not have access to it. It was just like a glimmer, right? And I kept asking for healing and asking for healing, and then Viking came into my life, and he has offered me healing on a level unimaginable. Everything in my life has been stripped away. Every single thing. I don't have anything anything left standing that I took here, or that I came here to England with. Like, it's hard to explain if you haven't been through the process yourself. And there's not too many people who are undergoing this sort of incredible transformation. We think that if something is offered for free, it's not valid. We think that the more a person charges for a therapy session, an energy session, a healing session, we use that as, okay, they must be a really good healer and I want to pay the most money I can. Well, what if I told you that true inner deep healing is actually completely free, and it's way simpler than any of us ever imagined? I got caught up in the fake spiritual bullshit for a few years. I left the Christian church and I got into all this other stuff, and it's different than Christianity, but the bullshit is still very much the same. And I feel, going on a bit of a bunny trail here, I feel a bit disheartened about that, because I really believed in the stuff that I talked about. I had another YouTube channel and I really believed it, and I talked about it. And now, since meeting Viking, where everything in my life has been dismantled, I realized I was just a judgmental fake bitch, just like everyone else, preaching this brand of spirituality. I'm like, oh, it's been rough stuff waking up to the shitty parts of my being, and that is what it takes to have the deepest inner healing, to face the negative aspects of who we are. I went down the path of love and light for a few years, and I got pretty passionate about it, because I am a truth seeker, I am a lover, and I want to spread love. But the way I was doing it was so full of darkness, and it attracted so much darkness. If this were taught, if the spiritual leaders of today taught this, they wouldn't make any money, because there's no money in this. Face the negative aspects of your being, tell the truth, and do what is right. That is what it takes for true inner healing, okay? Does it sound simple? Well, it's not. When I I went from hating myself. You know, I hated myself for so many years, and then I started working on myself, and I genuinely thought that I loved myself, you know, that I was blossoming into this beautiful woman. And then Viking, you know, my love comes into my life, and he's like, you gotta face the negative aspects of your being, Blue. You gotta face that there's darkness in you. You gotta face that there's evil in you, and it runs really deep. And I was really resistant. You know, I'd never heard any of the things that he was talking about. I didn't want to believe that about myself. I didn't want to believe that I was... Well, okay, this is a list of things that I have been examining about myself over the past few weeks. And believe you me, it's been a painful few weeks to come to the realization that I am a piece of shit. And I am full of darkness, and I attract darkness. And it's like, oh. So, I am selfish. I am absolutely a selfish woman, you know? I can be quite manipulative. Part of this list is what comes up for being a Turian. You know, Turians are chronic liars, you know? I have been called out on my bullshit so many fucking times, you know? The universe just... I lie, and then something comes, and it's like, oh, okay, I did it again. And then I try to do better, and then I lie, and then something comes again. I'm like, oh, you know, and it's just been a perpetual cycle of just lying. I'm like, how can this be so ingrained in the fabric of my being that I just lie so easily about anything? Like, that's a pretty harsh wake-up call. I'm pretty weak-minded. I have ego. Another Taurian trait is I'm a flirt. You know, I love to flirt. I am dark, and I'm judgmental. You know, on my previous channel, I talked about all sorts of things without living it. And I want to say I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for leading those of you who were genuinely interested in what I had to say. I'm sorry for leading you down that path. And I'm sorry for perpetrating the darkness and continuing it and just creating even more unbalance in this world. You know, I so much wanted to contribute to light and love, and I did not. Over the past weeks, I have gone into the deepest, darkest corners of my being, and I have examined the shitty side of myself. Another thing that I have learned over the past weeks is that you cannot be truly loving and only love in a peaceful manner. Let me see if I can explain myself. So, I have had to kick myself in the ass to get over some of these things. You know, I'm still working on it. I can't just say, oh, I love you, Blue. You're okay, Blue. You're fine, Blue. You're worthy. You're enough. You are loved, and you love. No, I have had to get... I've had to go to extreme measures because these negative aspects of myself are powerful, and they are fully ingrained in the fabric of my being. And a little bit of love and light isn't enough to change. You know, I have smashed the Taurian down. I have beat her down. I have yelled and screamed and given her the finger, and just like over and over, you know, and she keeps coming up and just like, no, you literally are not allowed to take control of my life anymore, Taurian, you know. There is beauty, there is love, and there's light deep down inside here. But it takes a complete smashing and eradicating of this dark the dark energy, the dark pieces of myself, so that I can live in light and love. I guess another example that you could use for this, if you're walking down the road and you see someone bullying another person, standing there and meditating and singing a mantra, doing some energy work, isn't going to stop that bully. You might have to go and punch that bully and say enough is enough, get the fuck out of here, and then help the victim, you know? That is truth. Okay, that is standing up and doing what is right. It doesn't matter what we've done yesterday. It doesn't matter what we've done in the past. What matters is that we step up today and we change. And we genuinely change. What matters is how I live life from this day forward. You know, I have greatly upset the balance of light and dark. And now I have to work to restore some of this balance and to kind of atone for what I have done. I have been so disingenuous and I've done a lot of harm. So this is me stepping up now and doing things in a completely different manner, seeing life in a completely different manner, you know, going about life differently and coming about life differently. So just to sort of reiterate the really big things that I've learned the past few weeks is gotta face the dark aspects of your soul, and there has to be a complete eradication of it before you can be truly healed and live in pure love. The only thing that matters is truth. You know, be truthful with yourself, be truthful with everyone else. That that is actually really intense, you know, because it means going to your partner with every single thing. You know, if you have a disagreement, you have to say, I don't agree. There's no keeping the peace if you're going to be 100% truth. There's no sweeping things under the rug if you're going to be 100% true. There's a complete examination of every single topic, no holds barred, 100% of the time. We're talking hardcore here. If you want to heal, do what is right. Can it get any more basic than that? We all know right from wrong. You know, start listening to the niggles in your gut. If you do something wrong, you know, you're not healing. You're keeping yourself in the darkness. You're keeping yourself down. Be humble. That's a hard one. It's a hard one for me. You know, when I am having deep, intense discussions with Viking about how shitty I am. You know, there's no healing like healing in a relationship with a partner who loves you deeply and passionately, because holy shit, man. For me, I've had to learn, I've had to almost force myself, because I want healing, because I want this deep inner healing. I used to sit and listen in defensive mode. I'd get bristly, I'd get edgy, I'd have a running commentary in my head saying, but what about this? But I'm not really that way. But, oh, I'm not really that bad. Wanting to argue back. not, I was not able to sit there and hear, Blue, why are you lying to me again? Blue, why are you treating me like shit? Blue, I love you. Why are you being so close to me? Oh, that hurts. And I denied it and I denied it. And finally it's like, oh man, I opened up my hands and it's like, okay, I have been treating my love like shit. I have not been sitting before him with open hands, with an open heart, and loving him. So now when something comes up and we're having a conversation where I would have been closed down and just not wanting to go there, it's like, okay, I want to heal. I'm going to listen with an open heart, with an open mind, to the best of my ability, because I'm still practicing this, right? It just doesn't switch on overnight. And I'm going to do so humbly, I'm going to not argue back. I'm going to listen intently. I'm going to listen with the intention to learn, to grow, and to heal. Something else that almost every day still, I'm just getting these incredible booming wows. So I learned last week so I thought that I had a really big soul, that we have a really big soul and we are born into perfection and we grow into soul. No, we actually, human soul, human grows and then soul grows a little bit. Human grows and then soul grows a little bit. And human soul, the soul is the connection to all is, to great mystery, to great spirit. Okay, so that really struck me really hard. Soul is not teaching me. Soul is pretty much at the level of, I'm not sure if I'm explaining this quite right, but if I'm not, I will come back and I will talk about it more extensively after Viking gives me a couple more teachings or sets me straight again. It lit a fire underneath my ass to find out that I am literally teaching soul so that we can rise up together, so that I can be the woman that I am meant to be, because soul is beautiful, soul is perfection, but it's the potential that I didn't realize. I thought I was growing into all this potential, but like as I learn and we grow together, more and more potential comes online, sort of. So that was a really, really interesting teaching for me, and really changed the way that I thought about a lot of things. I am so grateful to Viking for being in my life. I'm so grateful to him for standing by me. Watching your partner go through the depths that I have is not easy. I went through a complete shakeup of my entire being. Literally everything has been stripped away, and it was a very painful process for me, to learn that everything I thought, everything I believed has been a lie. The people and the courses the people that I thought were healers and the courses that I've done, it's all based on lies and darkness. That's harsh. I realize deeply that in order to be fully loved, and in order to love fully and deeply with a pure love that Viking is offering me, I need to step up. I need to take my healing to a completely different level. So, that is what's been happening in my life the past while. You know, every single day has been a shake-up of one sort or another. You know, I've just been great mystery. All is wants me to wake up and be who I can be, and I am being provided many opportunities to see the error of my ways, to see how I am wrong, to see my darkness, you know, because if we don't change, we will keep repeating. And if we say that we are changing but don't actually, the lessons start coming in even quicker and more intense. And yeah. So, to the few of you who are genuinely interested in Viking and I do want to apologize to you for the darkness that I brought. You know, I am now making my amends and I have a lot of rebalancing to do. For those of you who are part of the darkness that I have attracted and have come over from the other channel, you guys are literal pieces of shit, and you just will be blocked. We have gone over this time and time again, and I finally realize that it was me, that I have been attracting this to myself and into Viking and I's life. And I've been fighting against it, but not realizing that I am actually the direct correlation between the two. So that's been hard to grasp, but I understand it. And once again, I say you are not welcome here. The people that are welcome here are the ones who are working on themselves and who are interested in furthering themselves and, you know, in doing a deep examination of their beings, having fun, having laughs, living life as a whole, seeking balance. It's not for the faint of heart. That's for damn sure. So, I'm not sure how to end these videos anymore, because I do send out my love, as does Viking. But I'm finding out that love, the kind of love that this world needs, is not peaceful. So I can no longer blow you a kiss and say envelop you, and say if you need to, just feel this envelop you and feel the light and the love and the peace, because I can blow you out a kiss and I can send out my love, but you will not be feeling peace or light. You will be feeling your soul knocking at your door saying, let's wake up. Let's wake up, because blue is finally speaking truth. My love will make you uncomfortable. It will make you awkward. It will make you want to hide. You will want to run. And if you say anything else, you are a liar. Just like I was, and, you know, still working on it. Still working on it. Any hoozles. I do love you guys. And I wish for all the strength and the courage to just step up and really, really examine the dark sides of your soul. Nope. No, no, no. Oh, that still keeps coming out, right? We talk about soul in a completely, in a manner that's not at all accurate or truthful. I want you to have the strength and courage to wake up and face the negative aspects of your being, the human. Okay? The human can actually be really, really shitty. So, strength and courage, guys. Until next time.